Oh my god. The ground. The ground.
Hello again. Welcome back to Stevision. I'm Stephen Christopher Shepard. On today's show, I'll be talking about Engine Tech, my father's company, and a few of my father's good friends that were also some of my cool friends as well. Engine Tech was a small company my father had designed as an engineer that had no engineering degree. He may have had some classes, much like I had computer classes in college. My father's company, Engine Tech, was quite successful in Orlando, Florida, back there in the 90s. We had many clients that were super happy with the work that we did on their vehicles. Engine Tech seemed to be wanting to grow back in the 90s, and I really wasn't that interested in being a mechanic, honestly. I was too greasy all the time around my girlfriends, especially. I had many girlfriends as a young man, and I married a beautiful woman, Lisa Naomi Shaw, who became a shepherd, who became a friend. But Engine Tech did have some outstanding clients, and they were commercial companies where my father serviced vehicles regularly and did outstanding work. There was never many complaints, if any. And we had a lot of friends that were part of the clientele that did things for my father on occasion, which was very special. Some of my other friends that were associated with Engine Tech were the Zimbauer family, and the Transmatic Company of Orlando became the Zimbauer Company of Orlando now. Jay Zimbauer was a good friend of mine also. I knew his father and some of his brothers of the Zimbauer auto company that still exists in Orlando today. My father worked for Zimbauer originally in Orlando and put his own company, Design, together that was part of my grandmother's investments. And my father took care of my grandmother's vehicles as a result of such a good company. It was an outstanding company, though. I mean, my father ran a tight ship. Engine Tech seemed to make a lot of money. I signed a lot of receipts myself. We rebuilt carburetors, did all kinds of engine work. There was very, very rarely a mistake made. Most of the mistakes we had were the wrong parts for doing master cylinders on Volkswagens, matter of fact. Those parts can always be confused for other parts. And Engine Tech eventually just kind of faded out because I wasn't interested in being owner of Engine Tech. I just was working too hard for that kind of money, and I wasn't interested in being greasy all the time. But I worked Engine Tech for a while, and we did good. We made enough money to survive back there in those times, back there in the 90s, and even the 80s. Engine Tech evolved from the 1980s, actually. But the K&P Cycle Company, Greg and Chris Jamakowski, they were also friends of ours, the Jamakowski family. We were business partners, kind of, back during those days, kind of like a gentleman's agreement. We shared rags and things with K&P Cycles. We did a lot of cool things together, actually. We saw Jeff Farmer win the Daytona back in 1987, 88, I believe it was. Spring of 1988, I think. But Jeff Farmer was a good friend of ours and mine. Still is. I just haven't seen Jeff. He worked for my father and rode Superbike for Daytona and beat them all that year on a privateer bike made by K&P Cycles, ultimately. The trick was they had titanium valves, modern valving that K&P did, because they're excellent machinists also. K&P has built some nice race bikes as far as I know. But they're good friends of ours, and we were all excited about Jeff winning Daytona back in those days. I got to see him race on my college break with Tom Cook, my roommate in college. Tom Cook was also the vice president of our colony of Teeks at Tiffin University. But yes, so the Zimbauers were good friends, the Jamakowski family, and the Harker family. Ooh, yeah. Mike Harker and his father were good friends of ours. We got to visit on occasion and jet ski with Mike. Mike was always a good friend. I love Mike dearly. I don't get to see him as much as I'd like to. But Mike and I rode dirt bikes together, raced together during the Daytona Enduro series of the American Motorcycle Association and their events in Daytona. It was the I can't remember the name of it, but they held it in Daytona every season for FTR, Florida Trail Riders, which we rode for a little while together. And Mike Harker was one of my all-time favorite friends and athletes. He was a great bicyclist, a champion in Orlando, and became a motorcycle professional and works in the industry now. But yeah, those are the top 3 best friends of my father's and mine that were my father's. Of course, I have other friends that I talk about later in time. Thank you. This is Steve Shepard for Stevision. Over and out.